Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Evan Stern with RDTV News. Tonight, we are bringing you a special segment on the environmental impacts of both DDT and PCBs. DDT is a single compound, while PCBs encompasses a class of compounds, but both are very dangerous to our environment, highly controversial. We will be introducing esteemed experts, Dong-Jun Park and Hae-In Sung, to talk about these dangerous compounds. Now, I turn you over to Dong-Jun Park and Hae-In Sung.
Thank you, Evan. I'm Hae-In Sung on PCBs. PCBs are manufactured for industrial applications including plasticizers, fluids and electric capacitors, and hydraulic oils, and were first detected in the environment in 1966 in the bodies of white-tailed sea eagles. PCBs show very obvious toxic effects in Yusho in Japan and Yuchang in Taiwan. Yusho and Yuchang cause various illnesses, from stillborn babies, angry sores on the victim's faces and bodies, dark skin discoloration, enlargement of glands around the eyes, to respiratory and neurological problems. PCBs are a member of a family of chemicals called polyhalogenated POPs. They are persistent organic chemicals containing many halogen atoms. These chemicals have long half-lives in the environment and in the bodies of animals, about 2 to 10 years. PBDEs and PCBs are so similar that PBDEs are referred to as the new PCBs. The solution to the problems related to the PBDEs and PCBs are far from being solved.
Hello, I'm an environmental chemist named Dong-Jun Park, reporting from Moscow Polytechnica. Now I'm going to talk about the chemical known as DDT, or dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane. It is a chemical similar to PCBs that Ms. Song talked about, in that it is both harmful to the environment and to our bodies. DDT was formerly used as a pesticide to combat malaria in World War II, but after the war, it found its way to the general public as a pesticide to kill insects such as termites, moths, grasshoppers, and mosquitoes. I remember as a child, trucks containing DDT circled around town when I was playing in the playground. I cannot believe something so harmful was sprayed so close to children back then. Now DDT has been linked to diabetes, cancer, developmental problems such as premature birth and low birth weight. It is not surprising that there are high percentages of those symptoms and diseases mentioned up before, right now, because DDT is a very persistent chemical and it is very readily absorbed by lipids and body fat, and its half-life in the mammalian bodies can last from 6 to 10 years. In a research conducted by the CDC in America, even after 40 years that DDT has been banned, it still is readily confirmed in our bodies. Now, the environmental impacts of DDT is something to be recognized. DDT is absorbed by the soil, and its soil life can range from 22 to 30 years. In an aquatic ecosystem, DDT is absorbed by organisms and is metabolized to become DDD and DDE, both very highly persistent and harmful. Now, in aquatic ecosystems, the currents all travel to the Arctic, and the DDDs and DDEs stay in the Arctic, and the Arctic ecosystem is very heavily affected by that. Now, the banning of DDT has been showing very positive results. The bald eagle in America has been coming back, and the percentage of DDT in the average human body has been dropping very fast. Still, DDT is present and it is a very persistent chemical. Now I turn you back to our Mr. Stern.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Park and Ms. Song. Their expert knowledge was always welcome on RDTV News. Now, in closing, I would like to note that DDT has been banned in the United States since 1972 and PCB since 2001. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, which first started the environmental movement, ended up with the banning of DDT. Now, PCBs have been banned too, along with many other chemicals that we didn't discuss tonight but are equally dangerous to our environment. So how is it that since the 1970s we've known that some chemicals are very harmful? In fact, before then we've known that some chemicals are harmful. Yet chemicals are still being produced today that are harmful, yet we don't know the effects of. How is this? Well, first thing first, in the United States, this sort of thing is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA has historically been a weak organization with limited powers and scope. Big lobbying firms have been able to convince Congress to weaken the EPA's powers. So we could start by strengthening the EPA. Another way to help the environment would be to put the onus on companies who make these chemicals to prove that the chemicals are safe before they're introduced, rather than having the EPA have to prove that they are harmful after they've already pervaded our environment. Not all of these chemicals that are banned in the United States are banned worldwide, and vice versa. There are many chemicals banned in, say, Europe that are not banned in the United States. Why is this? There is no international law on the subject, or very little of it. One way to begin cleaning up the environment worldwide is to create protocols and such through the United Nations, perhaps, that would allow for a worldwide agency to make some sort of suggestions to governments, or even enforce governments to ban certain chemicals, like the EU can do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are just some things that you might want to think about. And you might want to lobby your congressman or other representatives to begin doing. For RDT News, I'm Evan Stern.